Ready to escape into a world of enchanting pixels? What is up, my peeps? And in the last video, we read Pinocchio. In today's video, we're going to be reading Robin Hood. The animal kingdom has its own version of the Robin Hood legends, the tales of the English hero of the common people whose adventures first sung by the medieval minstrels. Aladadale, a sweet-voiced rooster who is Robin Hood's favorite singer, presents their version. Oh, it's like a little narrated snippet. Interesting. Anyway, one fine day, Robin Hood, a clever fox, and Little John, a large bear, were walking through Sherwood Forest, dressed from top to toe in Lincoln green. All the members of Robin's merry band wore Lincoln's green and leveled deep in Sherwood Forest as outlaws. Yet they were beloved by the country people because none ever came to Robin in his time of need and went away empty-handed. Now the times were troubled because good King Richard had gone off on the Third Crusade, leaving his brother, Prince John, a scrawny and tyrannical lion, to rule England. Prince John's chief adviser was Sir Hiss, a wily snake, and between the two of them, they had put a heavy burden of taxes on the poor people. This fine spring day, Prince John's, encourage? I think so you say that. Anyway, was making its way through Sherwood Forest on the way to Nottingham to tax the people there. As Prince John said to Sir Hiss, "Rob the poor to feed the rich, am I right, Counsellor?" And he and Sir Hiss chuckled gleefully as they fondled the bags of gold they had already collected. Robin Hood and Little John saw the royal entourage in the distance, and Little John asked, "Are we good guys or bad guys? You know, out robbing the rich to feed the poor." But Robin Hood... What did Robin Hood say? Corrected him. "Rob is a naughty word. We never rob, we just borrow a bit from those who can afford it." Then he pointed to the royal coach. And here comes another collection day for the poor. The two outlaws quickly slipped into disguises as gypsy fortune-tellers and ran ahead to the side of the road. When the royal coach passed, they offered to tell Prince John his fortune. Cleverly, Robin Hood and Little John flattered the prince in a very short time. They had tricked him out of his jewels, his moneybags, and even the royal robes. Then off they scampered into the depths of Sherwood Forest, loaded down with their loot. Prince John was furious upon discovering that he had been tricked, and when he arrived in Nottingham, he wanted revenge. His helpless subjects paid dearly for his humiliation. He taxed the heart and soul out of the poor people of Nottingham, and if they couldn't pay, they were carted off to jail. But most of all, Prince John wanted to catch that scallywag Robin Hood and punish him. He told the sheriff of Nottingham, a villainous wolf, to continue an archery tournament, with the first prize being a golden arrow and a kiss from his niece, Maid Miron? I think that's how you say that. A beautiful vixen. Prince John knew that Robin Hood had loved or is it Marion? That might be Marion, actually. Anyway, a long time ago, before he became an outlaw, and he was sure that such a prize would lure Robin out of his hiding place. Nottingham was a fair sight on the day of the archery match. All along the green meadow outside the town wall stretched rows of benches for people of rank and quality. At the end of the range, near the target, was a raised platform, bedecked with ribbons, pennants, and garlands of flowers for the prince, Maid Marian, and the royal party. The poorer folk sat or lay upon the green grass near the railing that kept them off the archery range. The very best archers of merry England had come to the shooting match, and they gathered in the great tent, inspecting their bows and arrows and taking the good shots they had made in their day. The sheriff looked about for Robin Hood, but he did not see them among the archers. "He's too big of a coward to appear," he thought. But the sheriff was mistaken. Robin, who was one of the best archers in England, would have not missed his tournament for all the world. He and his merry men were there in various disguises, mingling with the crowd. Some were friars, I think so I pronounced that, some beggars, some peasants. Robin himself was a stork, while Little John got himself up as the Duke of Chutney, and sat on the royal platform at Prince John's left hand. The tournament had narrowed down to two contestants, the Sheriff of Nottingham and a talkative stork who spoke every time the sheriff was about to make his shot. Listen, Scissorbill, if you shoot half as good as you blabbermouth, you're better than Robin Hood, said the irritated sheriff. He's scared of me. That's why he didn't show up today. Then the sheriff shot his last arrow and it went straight to the bullseye. He was certain he had won the contest, but the stork had one more arrow, and drawing his trusty bow, he loosened the string. The arrow flew so true that it knocked the sheriff's arrow off the target and lodged dead center in the bullseye. The stork strode confidently up to the royal platform to receive his prize, but Prince John knew that there was only one archer in all the land who could shoot like that. He tapped the stork on each shoulder with his sword, causing the disguise to fall away. I sentence you to instant and immediate death, Robin Hood, proclaimed Prince John. The sheriff and executioners seized the outlaw and bound him with stout ropes. Maid Marian pleaded for his life in vain, and all of his friends were in despair, when suddenly the prince said, "Let him go." Little John, as the Duke of Chutney, had quietly put his knife to the prince's back and forced him to withdraw his orders. Then the merry man of Sherwood came forward out of the crowd and battled with the royal guards. In the confusion, Robin escaped with Maid Marian. They made their way to the hiding place deep in Sherwood Forest, and when all the band was together again, the forest rang with their songs and laughter as they waited for the day when good King Richard would return to England and reclaim the throne from his unjust brother. Once again, an enraged Prince John. Let me restart that. Once again, an enraged Prince John, advised by Sir Hiss, punished the people with taxes 4 times greater than before. Soon the prisons were filled with poor people unable to pay. Among them, Robin's friend, kindly Friar Tuck, a beggar, once again hoping to lure Robin Hood out into the open. The prince set a trap. He announced that he would hang the good friar for treason the very next morning. Secretly, he hoped it would prove to be a double hanging, for surely Robin wouldn't come to Nottingham to save his friend, and this time they would be ready for him. Robin and Little John stole into the town late at night. A jailbreak is the only chance he's got, Robin Hood decided. Silently, Little John crept up behind the sentry, who had just called out the time, and his "all is well." Little John pulled him over the castle wall, where Robin Hood took his keys and donned his uniform. They tiptoed past the Sheriff of Nottingham, who was snoozing at the prison gate, and in short order they unlocked all the barred doors and freed the villagers who were imprisoned. "I'll just drop in on the royal treasury for good measure," Robin said. He tossed a hook and rope up to the balcony of Prince John's bedchamber, and shinnied, that's how you say that, shinnied his way up. From the balcony, he shot an arrow attached to a rope through a prison window where Little John waited. Little John threaded the rope through an iron ring and shot it back at Robin Hood, making the perfect double clothesline and pulley. Then Little John sat back to wait for the fun. Cautiously, Robin Hood entered Prince John's chambers, where the prince and Sir Hiss were snoring in their beds. Bags of gold were everywhere, even under the prince's pillow. Robin stealthily removed them, one by one, to the balcony. Then he fastened them to the clothesline, and Little John then reeled them towards himself at the window of the jail. Friar Tuck helped pull the bags in. Chuckling, praised the Lord and passed the tax rebate. Soon all the freed visitors were loaded down with gold. led by Little John and Friar Tuck. They marched out of jail with the Don's first light, past the empty gallows that Robin Hood had helped them to cheat. Robin took the last 2 bags of gold, leapt from the balcony to the clothesline, and rode off on it. Sir Hiss and Prince John awakened when Robin fled, and Sir Hiss tried to recapture the last bag of gold. When he pulled at it, it split open, showering coins down on the villagers below, who ran off happily with them. The prince and Sir Hiss were strung out on the clothesline, screaming for help. Their cries alerted the guards, who charged after Robin, but he was too fast and clever for them. Meanwhile, Little John, the friar, and the villagers clambered into a 2-wheel cart and crossed the drawbridge just in time. Robin Hood held off the guards and then dived from the palace wall into the moat, where no one dared to follow him. It was a time of narrow escapes and wild excitement, not soon forgotten in the town of Nottingham. But all's well that ends well. King Richard, a lion-hearted lion, returned from the crusade and set his kingdom straight. Maid Marian and Robin Hood were married. The king joked that he had an outlaw for an in-law, and went to live quietly and lawfully in Sherwood Forest. And as for Prince Hans, Sir Hiss, and the Sheriff of Nottingham, they too found a new home in the Nottingham prison. Serves them right, honestly. Here's some history about the story and movie. And that is the end of this story. The next story stop will be... Oh, Ichabod Crane. Okay, then. Alright, so, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Talk to y'all later.